My YouTube friends asked me this question about what is carried interest in the context of private equity. So here it goes. When a private equity firm is formed, there a general partner is the firm that manages the investing in the private equity firm. The LPs or the limited partners contribute the capital to the private equity firm. So all the capital that is contributed by the limited partners into the private equity firm is like a pool of investments, is like a pool of funds which the general manager or the general partner has to then invest in different companies, either in the private equity or private debt. After a few years, the firms that the investments have been made have to be liquidated, right? So, what happens on liquidation? The private equity fund itself, typically after 7 to 10 years, will wind up its fund. On winding up of the fund, on closure of the fund, whatever is the corpus that is there at the end of that duration is distributed amongst the GP and the LPs. Okay, so how long is that duration is clearly mentioned in the placement memorandum that is signed between the LP and the GP, and the distributions are now the profit distributions. Remember, the LPs have got nothing till now from the private equity fund, right? The GP at least has got management fees, but the LP has got nothing, and he's waiting for a long period of time, almost 7 years, 8 years, to get some bit of profits from its investment in the private equity firm. So now let's take a look at the meaning of the term distribution. Distribution means the distribution of profits of the fund. So once the fund is wound up, the initial investment is first returned to the limited partners. Okay, so whatever is the initial contribution made by the LP is first distributed back to the LP on liquidation of the fund, and then only is the profits distributed between LP and GP, and in most cases the distribution of profits is in the ratio of 80 is to 20. Okay, this is largely because LPs are larger contributors to the fund, GPs are minor contributors to the fund, and moreover, the fund itself tends to earn management fee every year, but the LP doesn't earn anything during the period of the firm. This could, of course, vary from firm to firm. This could vary from private equity fund to private equity fund. But generally speaking, distribution of profits is in the ratio of 80 is to 20, 80% being for the limited partner, 20% being for the general partner. What is carried interest? Carried interest is the share of profits on winding up the fund that belongs to the general partner. Okay, so as you already know, in a private equity firm, there are two sets of entities, the general partner and the limited partner. The general partner manages and runs the operations of the fund. The limited partner contributes to the capital of the fund. Carried interest is distributed only to the general partner on winding up of the fund. The limited partner gets no share of the, gets no carried interest. Okay. How is this distributed? The distribution of carried interest could either be in the form of the American waterfall system or the European waterfall system. So let's understand what is the meaning of American waterfall and how is it different from the European waterfall. In the American waterfall, the carried interest is given to the general partner on a deal by deal basis. This means that if the private equity fund has made profit on some deals and the investment is liquidated either through an IPO or through a sell-off, then on that deal, the general partner is immediately paid off the carried interest. It could either be, or else, if it's not on the American waterfall system, it could be by the European waterfall system. The European waterfall system says that the carried interest will only be a percentage of the total fund returns. That means only when the fund is wound up and all the investments made by the fund are liquidated and the profits are distributed, will carried interest be paid to the general partner. Even in a general partner firm, typically only the senior employees like vice president and above get carry. Okay, because it's a very significant portion. There's a lot of waiting period to get the carry. People have to stick around to be able to earn that bit of carry. Is carried interest the same as management fee? If you know the answers, and even if you don't know the answers, post your answers in the comment section, because as we keep learning, we keep growing. Thank you very much.